Hi, welcome to Role Model Arcade. This is our guide on how to change one of our joysticks in one of our machines over here, but it will also work with pretty much any modern arcade machine. The joysticks might vary slightly, but the principles will be the same. Now, in our arcade machines, as standard, this is the joystick we get. This is a 5-pin LED joystick. The 5-pin refers to this little bit here, where you have your ground, and then you've got one pin for each direction, so up, down, left, right. The alternative that you might see, but we don't put in as standard, is one similar to this, where you've actually got, as opposed to the 5 pins, you've got a separate micro switch with a spade for each direction, so up, down, left, right, and on each of them you have a separate ground. So essentially the principle of them is the same, but the work you'll have to carry out and the look of them is slightly different. Now, as with our arcades, in our previous video, all we're going to need, again, nice and simple, pair of pliers and a screwdriver, nothing more. So first step is we're going to open up our cupboard. I'm going to undo our 2 latches, which will allow us to pull our control panel forwards. So latches are undone, control panel will drop forwards, and as with our previous videos, we're just going to take off this front panel here, and all it needs is 2 screws loosened slightly. So one on this side and one on this side. And then with them loosened, it's just a case of sliding the control panel off and obviously make sure our cables are disconnected. So nice and simple, and then we've got plenty of access to our control panel all there. Now, turn it this way so it's nice and easy to see. Now our joysticks require removal of 2 cables, one of which is our 5-pin that I've previously mentioned. Nice and easy, pop off. And because this is an LED light up joystick, there is another little connection just for the LED light. So that's off there. Now, once those are off, there are 2 screws that once they are removed, one at the top, one at the bottom, the joystick will be free to move around. Now, as well as removing these 2 screws, we also have the issue of the joystick's bat or ball, which is this bit here. Ball, bat. Now, to remove that on our joysticks, we firmly grab the front, and we'll see on the very back there is a little nut that we can hold steady with our pliers, and then all we do is turn. Keep turning until we find that the nut will pop off the end. There it is there. Then we can slide out the shaft of our joystick, and that's our joystick completely removed. Now, if we're replacing with a brand new one, we simply remove the nut on the back, similar to what we've just done then. Nice and easy. And then I would recommend connecting the cables up before we put it back in, just because it makes life a little bit easier. So that's our LED light cable there. And then that is our 5-pin connector there. Now on these joysticks, there are 2 options, and it's just for different configurations of the 5-pin. But on ours, in our machines, they're configured for this one here, the one at the center, not the one on the edge. So nice and simple, pop it in, and then we can replace our 2 screws and put our shaft back in. Now, it doesn't matter whether we do the shaft back in with the nut on the back first or put the 2 screws back in. Either is fine. It's whichever one you prefer to do. Okay, so that's 1 screw in. And again, this can be done really simply with nothing more than a screwdriver and a pair of pliers, which most people will have already at home for them anyway. That's 2 screws. And then again, we get our shaft, pop it back in, get our nut for the end. We can tighten it by hand first if we want to, and then just at the end, grab the pliers, get it nice and tight. Now that's our joystick completely replaced within our control panel. And then all we've got left to do is slide this back on. Tighten up our 2 screws. So again, one on the left, one on the right. And then the final step is just to simply connect up our cables again, which is one down here and one over here. And then we're done. That's it. So in less than a few minutes, control panel is off, nice and easily put on a bench, joystick removed, new one put in, and back on our machine again. It's as simple as that. Now, going back to our other joysticks, just because you may find that you're here at this video, not because of one of our machines, but because of another one, we'll have a quick look at the difference in the other two that you might find. So both of these, very popular ones, very similar in style. And apart from the connections being different, they look pretty much the same. This one does have a slightly longer shaft. Now, if that's in our machine, the 5-pin one here, it's exactly the same as that. We remove our 5-pin cable, but instead of having pliers on the back and turning, you might find, if you look there, we need a flathead screwdriver. And if we pop that flathead screwdriver in there, we can then turn the ball and pop that off the end. And I can probably do it. I can do it without a screwdriver because this one's nice and loose. And then, again, same as with the other, we can then slide it out, put it to one side. And again, replacing it, exactly the same in reverse. Same with this one. You've got a flathead on the bottom, screwdriver in there, turn the ball on the end, and again, that will allow you to slide out of the machine. And as I say, the only difference is the cable connectors, rather than being one for the joysticks controls and one for the LED, this one doesn't have any LEDs, but it does have 8 separate connectors. Now, don't necessarily need to know exactly what they're there for or what they are. Take a picture on your phone if you need to before you remove it, so you can look at the separate colours and put them back where they started. Nice and simple. So, hopefully that's helped you out, whether it's one of our arcade machines or a separate one, a different one not from us. The procedure should be exactly the same. And again, as I say with all our videos, whether it's this one, this our 27-inch, sorry, or this one, our 24, all of them, the panel will flip down, we've got our 2 screws, slide out, and we can put it on a bench. Exactly the same with any of them. So hopefully that's helped you out, and I'll see you on the next one.